good
Yep.
doctor right here. Nonetheless, we just want to say we should have on Zoom. Do we have a Zoom, William?
Dr.
Is
Aline
that
Harrison.
Dr.
There you are.
Aline?
Huh.
Dr. Aline
Harrison.
Harrison.
There you
Good
go.
morning.
There you go.
There
Yeah.
she is.
She
Good morning, good morning.
she used the filter.
Morning.
Where are you?
She
my
always
dear?
looks good.
No, that's
It's a conversation that we'll share with you afterwards.
Yes.
Want to say good morning, and this morning I want to talk a little bit about higher education as it relates to Galen, but just in general. Why is it important for, as a society, for us starting to think about elevating our education in terms of getting more higher education from a certified, qualified standpoint? So I can say, let's start with Sherry.
Why higher ed is important and what
Yeah.
you need. I think in today's world, we're more connected than we have been, more and more so. But it adds skills and knowledge. And it's not just about knowledge. When you go to class and you're, whether it's a sociology class or a science or a history class, and gaining this knowledge, but it's understanding how to apply it in these skills that you're learning. Oftentimes we refer to them as soft skills, communication skills. And communication could be speaking, but writing. And I know we have the now this influence of AI, but so important for everybody to know how to communicate verbally, orally, even those nonverbal cues, understanding what people are saying and how you're able to connect with people. So we have all of these skills that you can gain and learn through higher ed. And then, of course, all of that knowledge that you're going to get, but it's how to apply it, because you can access any video and you can read stuff online, you can watch YouTube. So you're seeing things and you're, hearing about information or watching about all of this stuff that's happening out there and things that we know about. But what does it mean and how can you apply it in making meaningful to your life and to your job then? And so more and more jobs, they're requiring more of us in what we need to produce on the job. But then again, like connecting with people, right?
Okay.
And I think when I look at some of the programs that we're offering, like the cybersecurity is a new one. This is really a fairly new area, but we need to be secure and safe, and we need to understand how to do that for ourselves, for our companies, for our country. And so it's this information and these skills that you're going to learn.
Is the technology, and you brought up the whole issue of the whole AI concept, but is the technology pushing us to a level now where the question comes up, do I really need to be certified in a specific area? Because you talk about the access to all that level of information, that do I really need to know?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
And that is somewhat of a challenge, because a lot of young people now feel, well, I can just go on YouTube, and a lot of them are feeling, I really don't need higher education. Unfortunately, they do need higher education, because it's through higher education that you learn some of these other skills. As Sherry mentioned, the soft skills, how to work with other people, how to put all of this knowledge together that you are gaining. In addition to that, it's one thing to say, well, I know all of these things, but employers are looking for certification. They need to know, what are you good in? Not just by you saying, well, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. So this is one of the things that we at Galen University do. We try to bring not just the degree programs, but also certifications in other areas. Because some students will say, well, I don't want a whole degree, but I just want enough so that I know this, but I want to be able to get a job.
We are all old enough in this room to remember years ago when we went to university or college, the way we were educated was a lot more precise. And, you know, you want to be an accountant, that's where you're going, because that's how the world was shaped.
Right.
Now, you ladies are involved in teaching the
If I
new
may add
generations.
in-
Yes,
Yes,
please
yes.
jump in here.
And she's the ideal person
Yeah.
for this.
You mentioned, you know, back in the day, but today our jobs demand more than memorization.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
How is imparting this message now
Yeah.
more acceptable to the new generation or generations?
Yeah, because what higher education is doing is to developing those critical and analytical
Because-
thinking that is
Yeah.
required, problem solving that is needed in today's world, and helping to build that communication, that collaboration, and adapting, that adaptability that leads to the lifelong learning skills that was mentioned, particularly essential in today's AI-driven world.
When-
You're good. Let me just
Yeah,
finish that thought. Because we do hear, yeah, Musk never finished college, Jobs never finished college, and he made it. But they are looking for all these certified Indians to continue doing their job. Am I right? They're the ones they're hiring.
Yeah.
They're looking
They're
for
saying
those-
like
But
they're
is that,
hiring.
is that if you take that premise, because we have this concept now where we talk a lot about entrepreneurship, and that concept seems to be a dominant discussion, especially even when you look at the authorities, they're kind of pushing that whole small business concept and people working for themselves. But piggyback off of what Ernesto was saying is that if it is that the persons who are the person who made it are not exposed, or they wasn't exposed to higher education, but yes, they found ways to find the skills they want. Are we training people to just work for people like that? Or what it is would be the conceptual message we want to put out there to the young people to say, listen, you really need to get these higher education. Either you will be in a six-figure paying job or you'll be leading some of these organizations. But do we have enough examples of that to convince them that I need to invest the next 4 years or whatever time to get either my bachelor's, master's, or whatever, PhD?
I think what you see with those individuals who are head of these huge multinational organizations and are making tons of money, but they read. I mean, they're a special kind of individual, right? They're really driven. They read a lot. They're self-taught in so much. And so it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that. And if you're not a self-driven person, I mean, you could go through and learn everything. And, you know, if you've got those problem-solving skills already that Aline talked about, they're so important. But being able to pick up all of that. And I think with entrepreneurship, and I'll let Dr. Katis.
Yes, and one of the things, since you mentioned entrepreneurship, it's the whole idea. Entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business. One of the things that we try to get across to our students is what we call the entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay.
That you can apply any place. You can go to a corporation and be entrepreneurial within that corporation. It's just the idea, it's the I can do it, I can get it done, and I know how to get it done. Have some of the skills for getting things done. So it's not just about starting a business, but how you think, right?
Dr.
Taking
Ali-
initiatives, etc.
Yeah, Dr. Aline, being the dean of, it says education, right, at
Yes.
the university, and you're preparing them. I have here prepare students for local, regional, and global opportunities.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you cover that spectrum? I mean, in one package or each student?
We design our curriculum with that in mind. We design our curriculum to develop an educated population, particularly in the field of teaching. We offer programs for the primary level, for the secondary level, and for school leaders, because we we design it with the intention that we are shaping future generations, that education is foundational to all sectors, whether you're going to go into business, into social sciences, technology, environmental studies, education is foundational. So we are very intentional when we design our teacher education programs. And it's built in throughout the courses, including their field experiences that they are required to take as a part of their teacher education program.
But all our students, regardless of what program you're in, have to do something we call general education.
Okay.
And general education runs the spectrum from history to social sciences to mathematics. So, and it's at least, and Sherry is usually the one who organizes the general education courses. So they do have to take at least how many credit hours of general ed? About 20 credit hours
More,
of
yeah.
general education, every degree program.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Ernesto mentioned earlier in terms of our educational period that we were going, what we went through, the circumstances are so different. There is this whole issue, the whole digital component that is included in there. From a lecture standpoint, how does the whole application of, because if you look at the old school way where the teacher gets in front of your lecture, you have a textbook and you go through the process. That's our era. Now they're looking, you don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
There's a device in front of them.
Yep.
And as a lecturer, former lecturer, that ticked me off because I am old school and I wanted to know that you're listening. And they said, well, I am looking at my ebook or I'm looking at my phone digitally, so I don't know if they're texting or what it is. How does the delivery of that education is different now than then?
Huge. And I know Dr. Harrison will talk about this. We've gone from the sage on the stage, right, where you're just lecturing. And so you've got all of this knowledge and you're just dumping it into what sort of like these empty vessels, and they're just supposed to accept it and then regurgitate it out.
Not so anymore.
But no, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. And you will lose students if you
But
do
the big
that.
universities still do that.
Yeah,
I mean, they
guess
do
in the
send
US.
you out and do your own thing, but
Yeah,
but,
you-
but
you have
these
your lectures
professors
and-
are supposed to be, the
We still lecture though.
Yeah.
But you have the
Yeah.
seminars as well. So you
Yeah.
have your lecture and then you get broken down and you have your seminars
Right.
where you're more, discussing and taking what you just were given
Yeah.
to try to, make sense of it all. But Dr. Harrison, she is our director for the Center for Teaching Excellence.
How do you find
Yes.
that, Dr. Harrison? I mean, we all come from that era of standing up in front of the class and lecturing.
As Sherry said, we have moved from sage on the stage to guide on the side, meaning moving from a teacher-centered approach to a learner-centered approach. In the past, it was the instructor as the main source of knowledge.
Yeah.
The instructor dominated all the class time, and the students were passive receivers.
No, they're not.
Today, we expect our instructor to be a facilitator, a designer, a coach, even a mentor, that the person helps students to actively construct knowledge and co-construct knowledge for that matter. So there is an emphasis on discussion, on collaboration, on reflection and application. So it's not that sage on the stage anymore, but the guide on the side.
Yeah.
Does that lead to the students can more question, as a
Absolutely.
professor?
Absolutely.
And it,
I
it
may
helps
walk
them
in
to
and you tell me something, I
negotiate
say,
as
but
well.
Troy told me something else on the street, which I believe Troy more than I believe you.
No, then we have a discussion, and that's what we
Yes.
want. We
Okay.
want students to question things. You
Engage.
know, I've heard horror stories about students going in and teachers saying, and the student said, no, but that's not, and the teacher actually, not at Galen, actually getting upset, and that happens more at the lower levels.
Yeah.
But we encourage students. In fact, we design our curriculum so that it does, they're able to be able to put their own discussions in.
Yeah. The environment has shifted so much, and I know we're talking about the whole issue of the benefit of higher education, but the whole delivery setting has been, even for me, I can remember during the period of COVID, and that's when really I decided to just not do it anymore. the whole concept of virtual teaching was kind of, and you don't know, the screen go blank, you don't know whether the student is online or there. So the technology has evolved in such a way that it has forced lecturers or universities or school to kind of change how they do the delivery. Was it difficult for adaptation?
Not for Galen University, not at Galen, because from our inception, we always had an online component as well. So even our students who come face to face, we do tell them some of your classes you're going to have to do online. So when COVID happened, we had a smooth transition because all our faculty knew how to teach online, and our students were also engaged in that online modality. So it was not a problem. But I am also going to ask Dr. Aline to talk with you a little bit more about the new kinds of platforms that are used now. We know when students leave that screen. Okay, we know how to engage them. We know how to break them out into groups within that online platform. So, but Dr. Aline kindly address it a little bit because she does the training for that.
So we've moved, and I'm glad you brought that up, that we had a very smooth transition back in 2020, March 2020. We actually we had prepared to shut down before even the Ministry of Education had given that notice. And it was basically a smooth transition. And yes, learning in the past was, for the most part, exclusively in a classroom at set times. At Galen now, we offer blended, hybrid, and fully online models, which means asynchronous, which you log in at any hour. You could wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to do your assignment, to take your quiz, to submit your paper, and so forth. And then we offer the synchronous, which is using a live platform, a video platform. Presently, we are using class on the web as a video platform. So students log in if your class is scheduled for 8 o'clock, and you could be anywhere in the world. You just log in 8 o'clock Belize time, and along with the instructor and the class, the class session takes place. The platform we use allows for a lot of interaction to take place. So it's not, again, the teacher just lecturing and the students listening. The sessions are designed that there is interaction, the students interact. It allows for example, breakout rooms. So I can give you an example for myself. I use the breakout rooms, and I add to it Google Docs, so I can see the students working as they're in their breakout rooms. I can send them messages. We come back to have large group discussion. So the learning is now extended beyond the classroom into the communities throughout Belize. As we know, the internet has improved, might not be 100% for everyone, but for the most part, it has improved, and so our students have much more accessibility. Digital divide is still there, but it's much more accessible throughout Belize.
Yeah. And the final exam character has also changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because how much you've learned is measured differently now.
Very much so.
I remember in the old days they had what they call correspondence school. You write they send you the exam, and they say, but you're cheating. I said, but you studied the material, I know it, and just writing down the response and sending it back, I went through the material again. You know, so
we
it
just
works.
Yeah, we just have to have different modalities for assessing students. Yes, and it becomes more and more challenging with the online platform. Also, of course, too, with AI, the introduction. Well, AI has been around for quite a while, but over the last 5 years or so, it's gained more usage, and we allow the use of AI. There are a number of AI platforms, and we do allow students. You can't get away from that. You absolutely can't. We ask students to use it more, and there's actually one called Copilot. It's really more as an aid, as a co-pilot. We have worked with our lecturers to show our lecturers how to work with their students so that they can responsibly use AI. Of course, our job is always, they have to have that critical thinking. So it's not just, slap something into GPT or Copilot or something and give it to us. So in fact, last year, we had a seminar, full-day seminar. We brought in 2 specialists from our partner universities in the U.S. to meet with all our lecturers, adjunct and full-time lecturers at the San Ignacio Hotel, to talk with us about using AI and working with students to use these various AI platforms. Because we can't tell students, well, you're cheating if you use AI. You can't. But we also need to recognize when students are purely using
that's
AI.
where I understand the challenge is.
Yes.
It's a challenge, but we have to
The
know.
modality has certainly changed, and so you've got to twist and turn with it, because if you resist, then you'll be left behind. So it's about embracing where we are and how we can use it to assist us.
Yeah,
as
and
we
your
go forward.
assessment methodologies have to change.
So I guess for
Yeah.
Dr. Harrison, it's a constant trying to shift and change to be able to accept and put together curriculum to embrace the actual changes in, I wouldn't call them challenges, but certainly modalities. No?
Absolutely, and it's keeping up with the changes, because technology keeps changing the dynamics of and that's the nature of technology, and so we have to keep up with it. It's not going anywhere. It's just getting more sophisticated every day. So it's a matter of embracing it, of teaching our students to use it ethically and responsibly. Yes, and as Dr. Katu said, we can't stop them. So it's a matter of educating them on how to use it ethically and responsibly.
Which
Excellent.
could lead our discussion into teaching these new generations life skills about honesty and empathy and things like that, which is a whole different story.
First, you want them to
Did you-
plant trees.
So that's right.
Digital citizenship,
Before you leave, the first department wanted you to include as an
internship, part of the internship.
part of the internship, that each student must plant 10 trees and prove it before they get their.
Oh, sure, could I
Already,
do it?
yep.
Yes, we already
I
do
went
it.
to their launch
They're there.
yesterday and was chatting with them. I've already shared it. I've already got it's not
We
quite
got
the
it.
app yet, but I've got it on my phone. We have our own plot, and I can't remember. We planted dozens, maybe easy 100 trees that we have on our property that we planted within the last year. So we'll be going out and doing all of those.
You're ahead of
trees.
that. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Excellent.
we're on and encouraging. And what I said was, I think every organization, family, household, put planting a tree, make it part of your traditions. And so the minister yesterday was saying, for holidays or for celebrations, birthdays, but the start of our school year, plant a tree. The students should be planting trees, and really to make it
Well, thanks
like
again
a
for
habit.
coming and reminding us that higher education is important, and Galen is there to help you with that if you need help in any area. We've had Coach Sherry Gibbs, who's no stranger. She's the Dean of Faculty of Arts and Science, Technology. Dr. Sylvia Catus, Faculty of Business and Entrepreneurship, and Dr. Alina Harrison, Interim Dean at the Faculty of Education. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
We are trying to make contact with one of our producer will advise us. You know, there's supposed to be a protest going on in front of Digi concerning this whole acquisition thing. So we're looking to do a little, if we can, a little live report. Meanwhile, stay with us. We'll be back with our other guests after the break.